Welcome, welcome. Moments like this make me miss my Gen Z baddie. So that when I say, I'm sad and it's Friday, she'll go like, Lolo, you're on your own, no. As for me, it's TGIF, baby. I should do that her body movement. Anyway, thank God it's Friday and welcome to Jasiri. My name is Omotunde Adeboale David and I can't wait for Blessings to return because she always has lyrics, jokes, and all are beautiful, different flavors.
Listen, Blessings doesn't have to be back for there to be some excitement on Friday, or should I say Friday. We that do have a life always look forward to the weekend. And for me personally, I cannot wait to sleep and to relax and just do nothing. Je te jure.
Please, whatever. I don't really care. As long as you're all the way back there and I'm here, I'm totally good.
Anyways, I'm sure you've noticed by now that, Blessings isn't the only one missing. Lolo, where is Tulu?
Oh, Tolu. Where is she? Why are you asking me? Cuckoo. My favorite word.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so...
Oh my.
All right, so Tolu isn't here. Let's not fight, ma chérie. We have a show to run. Je t'aime, and you know that. I love you.
I love you too, my dear. But what I do not love is the breaking news that we received yesterday. The Naira has sunk to a new low in the black market. It's now 1,410 Naira for just $1. And on Wednesday, the rate was just about 1,365 at the close of business.
It's terrible. I mean, this is where we say, which way Nigeria? It reminds me of the meme I saw of the president, Bola Tinubu. I mean, if they only knew that it would get worse within hours. Last year, February 2023, to be precise, while he was a candidate, Tinubu said something about strategy. I don't. He said no. He did say something about
strategy. When you say strategy,
let's take a listen.
Reform plan as captured in the Renewed Hope agenda. The president's itinerary.
I don't want to sit here and reveal all my strategy. I am the first speaker among the three of us running. So they will spy on me.
Baba, please review your strategy. We need it like tomorrow, not day.
Don't worry.
Honestly, I saw another meme that actually said that, Tinubu actually told us that Emilio Con, he didn't say he wanted to do anything.
Well,
he just said it's my turn.
Listen, now this is a story I think we should fully look into when the ladies get back next
Anyway,
week.
I agree. So guys, stay tuned for this one. You wouldn't want to miss any bit of the show because today we are introducing something new that will become our new tradition on Friday. So we have noticed, we have taken you all into consideration because we know that you love our hot topic segment.
In short, in other words, though, you people like Ame Bosha.
Even you too. Well, we all do. Everybody does, except you want to lie. But we are introducing our new hot topic special every Friday. Or can I say yay? So every Friday we will look around and gather all the sizzling gist and bring it to you You will be getting all the tea, including highlights from our week and stories we could have missed, during the course of the week. It's going to be fire, pepper, dynamite, anything that has explosions in it in the studio, trust me.
Well, and not just that. We'll also bring your favorite celebrities live in the studio to be part of the show. It's going to be excited. Please tell me you're excited. I know I am. Tell them our guest for today, Lolo.
You're just going to say, our guest today. Then you do what? You put the drum rolls.
There we go.
But you're going to have to wait because when we come back from the break, we will show you who our celebrity guest is. Don't touch your dial.
I'm not Lala. Guys, I am the nice one. So, I won't keep you waiting for long. Why go far and wide when we have a celebrity in-house and one who has also been trending over the week? Ladies and gentlemen, the olive emoji, our original olive oil.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you so much for having me.
Yes, thank you. Welcome to Jasiri. So how does it feel to be a guest and not the anchor?
Well, very different. I'm used to being the one asking the questions.
know.
So now just being here, and I was just wondering, where's my talk back? They didn't give me a talk back, and then I remembered I'm a guest.
Sorry, you're a guest today.
I'm
No
very
talk back
excited.
from you.
I'm a fan of your show.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you very much for having me on your
Oh,
show.
Lala, Olive, that's gracious of you. Olive in green.
Are you in olive?
Wow.
It's an olive in Friday.
Okay, I'll say Okoko wine.
It's fantastic that Olive is here launching Hot Topics, the special, with us today. But before we get into the meaty matter of the day, let's take a look at the week that was.
Yes, we're going to take our very first story, and this one got everybody talking. We featured a hot topic on Wednesday, and the tweet was from our First Lady,
Yes.
Remi Tinubu.
Yep.
She made a very holy tweet. Yes, very holy tweet, insinuating that it was Nigerians' prayers that brought home the Al-Qadriya sisters. You know,
And the church will then say, Amen.
Amen. Oh, that's how we do it now. And of course, you know Nigerians. Nigerians have no chill. They pounced on her with immediate alacrity. The speed I cannot even imagine. Here is what some of the people had to say.
There you go. Leaders take actions to solve problems. Your husband didn't promise his fans he would be praying if he became president. We know pastors or affairs we would have elected if it was prayers we wanted. You
Just
joke
like
too
you
much
prayed
for a
yourself
first-
into power, right?
You joke too much for the first
Honestly,
lady.
the way everybody just got in on it
Yeah.
was...
And then when we're talking about Nigerians spiritualizing everything, and when I say everything, guys, I mean what I'm saying, like spiritualizing everything. Here it is, people praying for their spoiled transformer to work.
No.
ẹ máa gbiná sọnù. èmi ti sọ nínú ọ̀rọ̀ rẹ̀ wípé ní orúkọ Jésù ní kí gbogbo egun kó tẹríba. ló bá jẹ́ bẹ́ẹ̀ ní orúkọ tó ju gbogbo orúkọ lọ mọ̀ pé akọ wípé a fún wa ní orúkọ yìí tó ju gbogbo orúkọ lọ ní orúkọ Jésù gbogbo ẹ̀yin iṣẹ́ òkùnkùn Sátánì àtàwọn.
Ẹ máa gbiná sọnù lórúkọ Jésù. Transformer yàrá.
Lolo, wait, just let's go on first before you get into it, because me, my body's pinching me. But
Honestly,
No.
this is the height of it. A mechanical device.
It's okay.
We're asking angels to come and help.
It's okay. Can we?
Anyway, of course, you know that I and every other person, we haven't forgiven American rapper
Yes.
Meek Mill
Yeah.
for his very shallow tweet. The responses to it, it had us rolling on the floor. Who would have imagined that this is the tweet that will bring unity between Nigerians and South Africa?
I loved the responses.
They are hilarious. They are hilarious. Let's see some of the responses. Oh, we don't have any music streaming devices in Nigeria. We have this guy. He's the only one that has access to Spotify. He's a town crier. He comes out every Friday to perform your songs for us. That's how we listen to your music. I hope that helps.
I think what is
I like the one about the pet lions.
Yes.
Yes. We get our pet lions to run away from the crocodiles, and it generates electricity. From there, we use... Oh my God.
It was just, I mean, the
was
responses
crazy.
kept coming in, and Nigerians, I mean, they went all in.
They went
Absolutely.
all
But it's not
in.
just Meek Mill. I think it's also a reflection of how a number of people, unfortunately, don't know much. They don't educate themselves much about Nigeria, about Africa. People still, it will shock you that in 2024, people still think Africa is a country, and they are wondering, how do you people have access to internet? How do you have access to water? Is wild.
It's just wild. Honestly, I have to just say it's wild.
Okay, let's before we get into, before we
Yes.
bite really into what the week was.
We want to talk about our last...
Yeah, the media was abuzz when a court granted a perpetual injunction stopping the National Broadcasting Commission from imposing fines on news stations. That affected us. We got into it like white on rice here in the studio when we had the director, Media Rights Agency agenda in the studio to discuss this, and it was a very insightful discussion. Just a snippet of what we talked about when he visited us here on Jasiri. I know that we have I know that we have the story you wanted to talk about.
And lastly, we talked about, we had a PR specialist, Elizabeth Oshaw, detailing how she was, scammed of some money on the internet and, via WhatsApp.
Yes.
And it went viral.
Oh, it went.
And many people even shared their experiences. Unfortunately, it's a daily occurrence.
Yes, it is.
Hence, we have to shine our eyes. Trust me. Nigerians have to open their eyes and be very careful.
But beyond Nigerians being very careful, I think that the financial institutions also have a role to play, because why was there so much clamor for us to do registrations for the NIN, the BVN? We had hoped that doing all of this and being able to unify our accounts would ensure that our monies were kept safer. But it doesn't seem quite like it, because she's been calling out the financial institution that was in charge of it. At that point, they should have been able to stop that money from moving the moment she laid the complaint. But it doesn't seem like any of that was able to happen.
There were so many insightful things that she said. One of the things that we need to start to put our eyes on seriously is that police was asking her to pay a fee.
450,000.
Exactly. One, telling her to go to Kaduna for quicker justice and so many other cases of online scam. It shouldn't be that difficult for us to get justice, because the slower we are to getting there, the quicker these people just cut away the money that, they scam you off. Yeah. So that's something very, 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 very important for us to look into.
We always tell people, in light of this, also try as much as possible to do what you need to do in protecting yourselves. Get your two-step verification done
on WhatsApp. Very important.
On WhatsApp. We ignore that a lot. It's easy to ignore that until you hear that. And this is happening. It's becoming more and more rampant. Yeah. She is just one of the numbers. Yes. It has happened to a lot of people who, unfortunately, are not here to tell their stories.
And I think when you get messages from people asking for money, before sending, call them.
Verify.
Because my mother's WhatsApp was hacked. And they were reaching out to everybody. They reached out to me, of course, asking me to give money. Acting, they were like, how are you, my daughter? So I was saying at that point that anybody who gave money to that scammer obviously didn't know my mother. Because if she hasn't been calling you to ask you for money, all of a sudden she sends you a message to ask you for money. I think the first thing to do is put a call across to say, how are you? Are you okay?
Yes. When
the person is not picking, then you know that that's something shady. So that's just a way for us to be able to look out for ourselves so we don't get scammed and just help other people as well.
Another thing I think is some of these scammers actually work on your greed, especially those that have money involved. When someone is telling you that for something, you're going to get something. So you should know that if you're too greedy, there are some things that you cannot have. How can you have 1,000% increase on a 1,000 naira?
Those ones are in a different WhatsApp group. Those people, those are the MMM category.
I'm telling you.
They're looking for quick money. There's no shortcut to making money.
And there are just so many clever ways they did that.
Nobody wants to know about whether there's a shortcut to make money. Just say the word money and everybody's gingered. Let's go back to the Remi Tinubu. Lolo was gingered.
No, Catherine, you threw fire in the studio. Oh my God.
No, but
Catherine was just not having it. That this is the reason why Nigerians sleep in churches, why they roll on the floor, and all that.
It's true. Olive, I mean.
Well, I understand that. So I'm a very...
Don't be diplomatic.
No, I won't be diplomatic. I'm a Christian, and I say this every opportunity that I have. I'm beyond being religious, I'm a faith-based person. However, there's some things I feel that God has given us common sense to be able to handle, right? And the way in which Nigerians and Africans were so overly dependent on religion is due to a number of factors. One, I would say that there's poverty.
Yes.
People need a sense of hope. Religion offers them that sense of hope.
Okay.
Right? So the unfortunate thing is that in some cases, those who have been entrusted with the exalted position of spiritual leaders have then used that to manipulate the minds of people. So I would always say to people that know God for yourself. Whatever God you are serving, know the person for yourself. Know that God for yourself. Because if you don't, you will then be, even the Holy Book say, you should avoid, you should, you would avoid being tossed here and there by the waves of doctrine. Exactly.
So
now that we're even talking spirituality, then we have to go back to the Dino Melai story.
Yeah, because I'm saying...
Honestly, it's one of the basest things I've seen.
Go and fix your transformer.
Go and fix the transformer. There's something wrong with it.
So this one I'm talking about is as citizens, but as a government leader, it's a bit telling of how maybe, how very nonchalant we are with how we handle governmental affairs. There are certain things that are basics. Your government is responsible, or your husband's government is responsible for ensuring the safety and security of every Nigerian. Prayers are great. I don't discountenance, the importance of prayers. But let us know what moves. And to be honest, I do also feel like there's nothing that she could have done at this point that would not have been criticized. Yeah. Hear me out. I'm not trying to hold brief for me.
Olive.
Hear me out. Hear me out.
I would advise you choose your next words very
I would choose it. I would choose it.
No.
Because the truth
but
is...
I actually said it was coming from a good place.
If she had kept quiet, Nigerians would have pounced on her.
Don't keep
was lacking of empathy.
Don't keep quiet.
See, so that's one. If she had then said, I call on the government to do what they need to do, they'll say, it's the government, not your husband.
No, you cannot say you call on the government. There's a way you can say it and say,
but those are things...
Olive will not win this.
No, the thing I even said is sometimes their handlers just hand them stuff.
For example...
They don't verify. Maybe if, before that tweet went out, if she had probably looked, it might be somebody from within her office
now, can I give
actually tweeted.
Can I give an alternative to how she should have handled this, right? If I were the one who were to advise her, I would have said, go and visit the victims.
Exactly.
Let them see you as the quote-unquote mother of the nation.
Yeah.
Let them see that you feel the pain. Let them see that there's some level of empathy. Say what you like about Patience Jonathan. You will never forget the clip of her crying and saying, there is God, though. All this blood we are sharing, there is God.
Okay, so
you could feel that there was a great level of empathy.
So that connect, she needed to have done that. It probably would have, because we relate to, and everybody, we relate to that kind of display of emotion. Okay, let's go, please, before we move past this transformer, I cannot get my... Why, how does that work? Somebody, local government, whoever it is, should have just pursued them from there. Say, yeah.
Honestly, but those are the things that just make me feel sad, because it's poverty of the mind.
I would never have thought that there would be an endroit, a place like that in the States, that this can happen. If to say then tell me, forgive me, I would not. I'm
not surprised. I mean, the ridiculousness I would see on social media, for example, kind of things.
I would have thought it was a skit. Honestly, I would honestly have thought that was a skit.
So let me get this straight. So by praying for that transformer now, the prayer was in Yoruba. What was
Oni Oluwa, Jackie transformer Igbobo àwọn ẹ̀mí tó ní kó má ṣiṣẹ́, ẹgbà iná, receive fire.
Well,
any enemies, any demon that is holding the transformer from working, receive fire.
Well,
there might be demons actually.
Well,
there are demons. No.
Permutation.
I'm trying to be balanced. The things of the spirit have supernatural explanation.
Olive. You need to, maybe because she's selling olive oil, because her name is olive oil. So she's part of those that will carry anointing oil and give them that, pour it on the transformers. Some of them can be that stupid.
The way in which, instead of praying, I think what we should do is let people know who their representatives are. Your local government area has a representative who is responsible for, ensuring that things work within that community. So know the people to call out. We need to be more involved in governance and just being able to hold people to account. It's not enough to say I'm the one in charge of this local government area. I'm the chairman of this local government area. We need to be able to call them, hold them to account.
Yeah.
So
let's even move on. Another big story that we dealt with was on press freedom. And we had a guest in the studio, Edet Ojo, who actually mentioned that for an NBC to actually work, it has to be separated from the government for real, for it to work. And I actually like the pronouncement of the court that they do not have a right to place fines on stations. That is a judicial right. And, that alone would make a lot of stations very excited, because all of us are from radio, actually.
Yeah.
Every one of us on this table have done radio. And I know that I've been at the brunt of NBC.
No, believe me. Everybody, if Olive wants to tell her own story.
Oh, no.
Yes, the media is called the fourth estate of the realm for a reason. You know, it's to ensure that we're able to say the things that the people want to say. We're able to hold them to account, hold the government to account. But unfortunately, journalism has been influenced, and it's not just in Nigeria, to be honest. It's in several parts of the continent where we're seeing internet being shut down, the media being stifled in different ways. So I'm excited by this court ruling or this court judgment. I'm so excited by it. I'm hoping that this is something that will be implemented as quickly as possible, because journalists need to be able to say their mind and say the truth, like when they say now, speak truth to power, rather than feeling like, oh, the next thing NBC will slam a 5 million naira fine.
I know that this is not the end of the story, because it's just the first ruling.
Yeah, it is.
Even though they said they've gotten a judgment from a federal high court in the past, but I know that this particular matter might actually get to the Court of Appeal and maybe eventually make a stop at the Supreme Court, and we can rest it there. Hopefully we win.
All right, listen, I would love us to dig into, with cutlery, into Meek Mill's tweet, but no, I will allow the angel of the Lord guide me. So if I don't stop us here, we will just keep going on and on. And you know, Tuli is not here to boss us around.
Exactly.
So that was the week that was. Up next is Hot Topics. So don't go anywhere, because Jasiri returns in just a moment.
Now, remember, you can join the conversation across our social media channels at News Central TV. And don't forget to hashtag Jasiri. Now, we're moving on to our hot topic.
No, you mean our Hot Topics frenzy.
Special.
Yes. I'm so excited. Yay.
Special.
Yes.
Okay. And Olive knows we're going to start with her.
Yes.
Right. You know, last week we actually featured a post that went viral. And if you know, it boiled the skins out of a lot of people. We want to actually hear it from the horse's mouth. I'll say the beautiful horse mouth. But first, let's watch a little cut from that interview.
As an African, I don't think it's the right, it's a right to a woman to look for apartment.
So where am I supposed to live? Under the bridge?
You live under your husband.
But I don't have a husband, so what am I supposed to do?
You have to look for one as an African.
I have to look for a husband?
Yes. Let me tell you, as an African, if you are enough to marry, you did not marry, people, they will look less of you as an African.
Listen, all I have to say, or what I have to ask is, how did you sit through? Because you were quite calm. How did you sit through that entire interview? Because you must have tried to suppress different emotions.
Oh, yes, I
did. But you were very tolerant. Olive, I commend you. Honestly, really
Thank you.
Tell me.
Okay, so I think maybe I should go back to the origin of that conversation, right? Sometime last year...
You stay under your husband.
Go and look for.
Sometime last year, Joy Soap invited me to be a part of their campaign. So they were doing a campaign called My Life, My Script. And they wanted different women to sort of share the stereotypes that society have about them that limit them. And so I shared different experiences. And one of the experiences I shared was the difficulties I found with getting a property, in Lagos, and how they would say, oh, once you're a single woman, they won't give you a property. Yeah. So they decided to further extend the conversation by doing like this second campaign. And in this second campaign, they then brought gatekeepers. So mine is one of several conversations. They brought different gatekeepers who hold these beliefs that we have regarded as stereotypical. Yeah. And this man was the landlord. I had never met the man before. I didn't know anything about him until Joy Soap invited me on set. I got on set, I saw him. There was no script. He just said, have a conversation with him.
Oh, wow.
Right? So we started to talk. And in the course of talking, I just heard him talking about his experience and his friend's experience with properties and how he wouldn't give his property to a single person. And there were several emotions. There was anger. There was...
irritation, I'm sure.
Yes. Yeah. But you know what I kept saying to myself? You're a professional. Every day you interview people whose perspectives you don't agree with. Yeah. But the crux of what we're trying to do is to let people know that these mindsets still exist in 2024. Wow. And so it's not just about him. He's just one. He's just one of a number of people who still think like that. So to let him know that people still think like that.
Yeah, since this story aired, I'm sure you've had a barrage of people coming to you, sharing their own stories. What's the aftermath been? Is it more emotional? Because imagine we heard from you. imagine the things that people would have told you. How has the aftermath been?
So I didn't foresee how this campaign was going to go, right? I didn't foresee how it was going to pick fire, pick steam, and everybody, all the blogs. At a point, my phone was ringing so much I had to put it on silent because it was giving me anxiety. But a number of the reactions I was getting, right, was that many women could relate to this. Single women, unmarried women, divorced women, widows, right? They could relate to this. People were sharing their stories. There were people who saw the campaign and sent messages to say they were crying after they saw the video because it triggered them and it made them remember. And I was really just, as much as, you know, when I start to think of how sad it might have made me feel, I'm incredibly grateful to Joy for bringing me on that conversation because it reminded me that hearing their stories and reading their stories reminded me why I accepted to do that. Because even growing up, my father died when I was young. My mother was looking for an apartment. For months, we couldn't get an apartment because my mom was a widow.
And your mom is not even a young woman.
Yes. So they refused to give us an apartment.
Apart from single mothers and
divorced women and widows.
Yes, and unmarried women also. You got him also to talk about submission. Let's not even talk too much. You got him to talk about marriage and the idea of submission. Let's not even talk too much. Let's listen to what he had to say about that. It was, trust me.
Well,
yes.
That day you sighted your eye on that person that you are going to marry him. Let me tell you, you have to be submissive to the call.
Even when he's trying to kill you.
Endure.
Even when he's trying to kill you.
You have chosen. That is Africa for you. You have chosen. It is because people have left the caution aside. No respect for anybody anymore. Woman do work, man do work. So they share equal right in the house right now. Formerly, there was no equal right. There must be a head. Now, the equal right part of it is the problem we are facing.
I can't even lie. I would have cried if I was the one taking this interview. You know, the pressure for people to marry, it pushes so many people to take the wrong decisions. I can tell you. And there are so many things that has nothing, like your spirituality, your character, all your innate qualities. It has nothing to do with your marital status.
Absolutely.
So how did that make you feel? Because I want to cry
even
now.
when
I'm a divorced woman. And I know how hard it was for me to get an apartment. Maybe because they saw that I had 4 children. And my landlord happens to be one of our friends' fathers. That was why I was able to get the apartment. Because imagine if somebody had to tell me this, with all the things that we're dealing with, I don't know how you were able to stay sane throughout that interview.
I won't even lie, it was hard. If the interview, there's a longer version. There's a 22-minute long one on YouTube, on Joy's page. And one thing that, it was hard, right? It was hard because I'm not married because I don't want to be married. It just hasn't happened yet. In fact, I did say it in the interview when you see the longer version that I respect the institution of marriage and I look forward to being married someday. But until it happens, should I now put my life on pause? And this is the reality of a number of single women in Nigeria. We find that there's just that undue pressure. It makes it look like, oh, there's something wrong with you.
Yes, if you're not married.
And if you go back to the conversation, you asked how I felt. I felt naked. I think that's the word that I felt naked. Like I don't. So does it mean that I don't have a covering? You know. So it's why it's important that we keep having conversations like this. Conversations that sort of go to the gut of people's feelings, make them think and make them, because there's some things that our parents' generation don't even know that they are further mounting pressure on us when they see, like, how far now? When will you? You know what, marry? How far now? When will we eat your rice? And I know that a number of these things come from a good place, but sometimes it just puts you under undue pressure. You then rush into a marriage, it doesn't work out, and then you rush out and it hurts.
Part of the indices for the
wrong one. It's hurtful. But yes, so that's just one of the conversations. There was also the conversation about women, the pressure to get married, which is, you know, in some of their subsequent episodes. But yeah, there are more conversations about that, and I'm glad to have
your mental health.
Oh, now
how was your mental health?
Now I'm in a much better place. As at that day, so when people were saying, when I shared my reaction video, and somebody was like, "Oh, you're a journalist. You're supposed to be unbiased. How can you come here and be saying you feel hurt?" I'm like, "Oh, people don't know that." I didn't choose
Come and
this.
sat on the chair.
I did not choose this. It's not my interview. It's not my
Exactly.
guest. They brought me to come and be a part of the campaign. And even if it was my guest, I think I still have a right. If you say things to me that are not reflective of who I am,
who
right?
you are.
And what I believe, it should hurt. But that being said, it's not about this man. The goal was not to vilify him, even though his mindset is also a reflection of his background.
And the knowledge he has.
Exactly. The only way we can break this is by constantly educating people, by sparking conversations like this, because that generation will pass on this ideology to our current generation. And if we don't break it, with stories, of women sharing how this has impacted them, it will continue, and we don't want that.
I'm thinking of something now, and I'm asking, probably there was a language barrier. Maybe if
it was
the
in
facts
Yoruba.
I don't know.
I don't agree. Do you know why I don't agree? They had some other younger people that they interviewed who shared some other mindset that was. I was shocked to hear some of the things they will come out in subsequent episodes.
Honestly,
I was shocked. So it's not. I don't think
see some of those.
I don't think it's language
But
barrier.
we still have some other hot topics. So,
All right, let's
Catherine,
talk about it.
take us to the next.
The
story.
next gist, I think, I don't know whether it's about the back-to-back pictures and videos of the, there were different weddings.
Yeah.
So
Weddings
my head is
and
a lot
proposals.
of things. Okay, wait,
Weddings and
let's go to this text where a lot of people are guilty of. That's what it says. Cloning your partner's WhatsApp on your laptop because you want to see their conversations has to be one of the most insecure acts I have ever heard. Is it right to clone your partner's phone?
No.
That's the lowest of the low.
Oh,
No.
you believe that? It's the lowest of the
Honestly,
low?
I actually, because she's our guest, let me let her take it first.
Well, I don't think that. So I think that the primary reason or the primary bedrock of any relationship is trust, right? And the moment you get to the point where you are cloning your partner's phone, you have zero trust left, and you really don't have any business being there. Why are you in a place where you want to give yourself high blood pressure?
Well, perhaps the person has been hurt. Wait, now let me land. Lolo says no. Wait, let me land. Perhaps the person has been hurt before, the trust been broken, and there's always the talk, oh, don't worry, I'll make it up to you, and then things are still not adding up. So the person just wants, I don't know, to do this for their sanity. Perhaps?
No, it cannot be for your sanity. Because half of the time, I'm always saying that if we go looking for something, most of the time you find it.
Absolutely.
And I know what boundaries mean. There should be boundaries. Relationships in the first place.
Lolo, maybe because
Trust is supposed, in the real sense of it. I'm not talking about the idea of relationship now is fragmented as far as I'm concerned, because every single person believes different things about relationships. So if foundationally, if trust is supposed to be the bedrock of the relationship, you cloning your partner's phone is the highest form of insecurity. There are even some things that might not even be that is cheating, but he doesn't want you to be privy to.
Yes.
And that makes your partner feel very
It's giving stalker behavior, I beg.
Yes,
Like you are borderline a stalker. And this is
with
not
you?
to disregard the fact that, like you mentioned, some people have been hurt. They've been hurt by their partners. The partners have breached their trust. In that case, the responsibility is on your partner to earn your trust. And it's important to communicate to your partner that, look, that thing that you did to me, I haven't been able to get over it.
Yes.
And I need you to help me to get over it. And if it's in little things like removing the password from your phone to ensure that throughout your relationship there aren't passwords, then the person has to do it. So let the person know, like, I'm feeling a bit insecure because I haven't healed from the last time that you hurt me. So is it okay if I ask that you maybe take away the password from your phone and I'll
Yeah, but what is taking you too long to heal now? Is it?
But do you know that this thing you're just talking about, I know how many women, I've heard of a story of a woman that read some responses from a woman from her husband, and she had a stroke there and then. And they said she didn't even recover.
She's had blood pressure now.
So why, if she had not snooped, she probably would still be a sane mom, taking care of her children, instead of being an invalid to her family.
Olive,
now.
let me ask you, because, you represent the younger generation.
Younger generation.
So I'm thinking, is it something that is very akin to the younger generation? Because I wanted to ask Lolo, is it, if you were younger, would you be saying what you're saying regarding cloning your WhatsApp? Lolo, there's a twinkle in your eye.
That's just a lot. I don't mind you're checking his phone, but
Not
cloning
okay.
it,
So not let's
that's
say
advanced Gen Z level. Gen Z Pro Max.
So, if I can't speak for Gen Zs because I don't know what Gen Zs are doing. I like to claim Gen Z. but my fear is that we have a social media generation that is fueling people's insecurities. So because there's so much negative news of people's partners cheating, people's partners treating them bad, it's out there and bad news travels fast. So in a bid for people to secure themselves, their insecurity jumps out and then they will do whatever it is to quote unquote help their minds. But it's also a reminder that therapy is also becoming a very trendy topic. So I'm hoping that more people would key into therapy, because the moment you get to the point where you want to start cloning your partner's phone, something has been broken somewhere.
And like Olive says, partner means it can be the man, it can be the
woman.
So
Yeah.
it's not only,
yes,
we don't just say, okay, something that women do. Men also are likely to do this as well. Because I know that a lot of times someone may think it's an in thing now with young people that, oh, there shouldn't be anything, I should be able to check your phone.
But not to the extent of cloning.
Not to the extent.
I should be able to check your phone is basic common sense.
We are
My
in
friends
the
have
age of
access to my
AIs
phone.
now, even.
So like
things
my
are
close
getting-
friends will know my password. I'm like, Olive, sorry, I want to collect my picture, because if I snap a picture, it can take 2 years before I will give it to you. I will not remember. They'll just collect my phone, open it and collect their pictures. If I can give my friends that level of access, why should I not give my partner that level of access?
Exactly.
It could be a result of
You now want to kill yourself by cloning his phone? Please. That's way too much.
All right, so moving on. There is this popular, of course, challenge going around on social media. Everyone has been jumping on it. And of course, a very unpopular community in Nigeria hops on the bandwagon.
And of course,
People always ask me if I'm a footballer.
I'm pansexual. Of course, everyone thinks I'm a prostitute.
I'm a lesbian with kids. Of course, people want to know how I got there. I'm an heterosexual trans man. Of course, people think I'm gay. I'm a trans man. Of course, people always want to know what
this is a lot. I know.
Olive?
Was that comment on every story?
Yes. Yes.
Why won't you comment? But the thing is, there's freedom of speech.
Yeah.
And it's freedom after the speech that is not quite guaranteed.
Well, the thing is that the laws that we all claim, we need to know what the law says. It said if you are caught in the act of doing this, maybe same sex, that's what the law would frown upon. Because in Nigeria now, we have a lot of people representing this community. As in, we have cross-dressers.
Yeah, but Lola, homosexuality is still a punishable offense in Nigeria.
They said if you are caught in the act, not speak of it. Interpretation. They'll say it's left to the interpretation of the court.
Yes, I think at the end of the day, it's left to the interpretation of the court. And yes, this has been a conversation that's been, it's been an argument for the longest time when, if not, people like certain social media influencers that we know will not be walking around freely because of, their proposed sexuality that they, show on social media. In Nigeria, it is still a crime. So I just think that we all need to tread carefully on social media. Social media hardly ever forgets a number of things. Like it hardly ever
but
forgets.
as far as I'm concerned, a lot of these people will tell you that whether we like it or not, this is a conversation that the West or people in Africa would need to have, because it's a huge community.
Oh, it is a huge
whether
community.
we like it or not. And everything that has happened out of the country is going to replicate itself in Africa. But if these people are prosecuted, it's going to be, honestly, we need to watch this story, because if they are prosecuted, trust me, it's going to become a worldwide
The United States already started
thing.
speaking about it. They already started speaking about how Nigeria has not been favorable for the LGBT community. So they have always been very vocal about it.
Did we see this coming, though, with the of course challenge? Did
No,
we see that the LGBTQ community would jump on it?
No. Why? Because Nigeria is typically very, quote-unquote, conservative. People are not very keen to. It's just now people are starting to break away. There are certain things that we know happen, that we know about, but people don't necessarily come to talk
we're
about it as
pretentious
much.
then?
In a way, yes. In a way, we are.
we are
but-
pretentious. We all act as if this is not happening.
So therefore, all those who go to church and raise hands, do not raise holy hands.
I don't
Well,
know.
not
Why
all,
is it only
not
in
all
church?
those. What
In
the
the
church-
mosque,
what the church
even in the
do?
shrine.
What the
In
church
the
do?
shrine.
It's the first thing that came into
Even
my
in the, we
mind.
have to always balance it because many of us just think that in Africa, this one, another thing I don't like. You think it's just Muslims and Christians.
No,
They're
the
traditional people that believe in
but-
traditional things. They should be represented too. So whether we like it or not, this is an ongoing topic. We don't like to talk about it. It's still punishable in Nigeria.
Yes.
But even that is the definition of the law is caught in the act. So how about
there has to be
when
a
you
court.
just say it? How about if they just say, we just dropped on the thread, everybody just thought it would be something to say,
Yeah, so...
and it's subject to the interpretation of the court.
Absolutely.
course.
We're just going to have to wait and see how that one eventually
Of course.
plays out.
I like this.
So apparently nobody's green for anybody. Yeah,
Nobody's green, no.
nobody's green for
I
anybody.
think we're the only ones that haven't done this, of course, challenge.
Yeah.
Of course.
We did
You
it
did?
sometime in the office. I just
Nobody
haven't
haven't
put
done
it together.
We have to find an interesting lean on it so that...
Of course. I want to do my own, of course. Of course, I'm a single lady. Everybody just thinks that another person has taken me. Please, I've not been taken by anybody.
Okay. Of course, I'm a divorced woman. Everybody just thinks that you are sad and unhappy and you need a man.
Of course, I'm Nigerian and I'm Cameroonian. Sometimes I speak French, sometimes I speak English. I can't really say where I am.
You're just a confused person.
You're proud. That's
Just
what
say
you
you're
are.
No, I'm not.
confused.
I'm not. They say time flies when you're having fun. And
Yeah.
I mean, it's obvious we're still having fun. Just look at Lolo, grinning from ear to ear.
Wait, has the show come to an end?
No, we're just going. We're almost running out. Yeah.
Oh, wow. I didn't realize time had gone. Wow.
Hey,
but before,
that means
you know-
that because you're among friends.
Yeah, I'm having
Yeah.
a good time.
That's what Jasiri does to you, actually.
It just makes you feel at home.
It
This is
does.
just a show for
It does.
everyone, where we just bring you into our space and you become a friend.
And then, of course, Olive brought her energy. She brought her sauce and she brought her olive oil as well. We call her the original olive oil.
Yes.
On Hot Topics today.
But you know, today I actually had cold feet. I was going to call in sick because I felt it was just going to be me. You know, but
Why?
it wasn't so bad.
No, I'm glad you
We tried.
Yeah.
And Olive is sitting
No,
here.
you
At
can
least
try.
you douse the tension between me and Catherine.
I'm happy to be of service.
But I don't want this to be regular. Tolu, be back here on Monday or else.
Or else what? Why are you holding on to Tolu? Why are you not calling Blessings? Oh,
Blessings
because
is
she's
on leave.
Okay,
So I can still, I know I'm counting the days. It's just one more week before she brings, and I know she's
Agency
coming with a
self.
joke.
jokes.
She's definitely coming with a joke.
Can I
Very
give you
serious
a
one.
dry joke as I wrap up my own?
Oh, God.
When people ask me at games nights to introduce myself, I'm like, hi, everyone. I'm Olive, but I don't like olives.
Oh.
You really don't like
I really
olives?
don't like olives.
Are you kidding?
No, I don't. I'm
And
not
I would
kidding.
never eat pizza that has no olives or pineapple.
My mom likes olives. Shout out, mommy. She's probably watching. She's
Sorry.
certainly
How can
watching.
you not like
Yeah.
olives? In any case, I have
But
to
before
leave
we
this.
go, we have a nice story.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
At least I'll leave us smiling and applauding Nigeria.
Yeah, but we need to leave the studio, but we're going to leave with something positive. And we just have the story. We have just that story. Former CNN journalist and author Aisha Sise took to her Twitter to thank Nigerian doctors and nurses for saving her mother's life.
Oh, bless.
Here is what she tweeted, ladies and gentlemen. If we can see that tweet now, I don't know, but I know that she's a favorite. She's a favorite.
You know, she just said something about her mom being sick in,
I swear.
think,
And she says
Sierra
nothing-
Leone, that she had to fly her mom to Nigeria.
Yeah.
And she mentioned the hospital, actually.
Yeah, she
Hospital.
did, but I wanted to
she
read
said
it
they
in her
took
own words.
very good care of her. Because
Yeah,
we don't
and
have
that's
the tweets here.
nothing. There's one thing she said. I have to say it. She said that, and people say nothing good comes out of
Oh,
Nigeria.
bless. I was
Yes.
looking for her tweet,
But
but
I'm so proud that Nigeria is where, as bad as, they'll say bad as he bad. We're not completely bad.
No,
yeah, I've seen the tweet. It says, when my mother took ill in Sierra Leone last December, I had to take her to Nigeria. I'm so grateful for Nigerian nurses and doctors who saved her life.
Exactly.
Then they say
Finally,
nothing
Nigeria
good
is getting a positive recognition.
Yeah.
And I love to see it. And I say congratulations to the hospital, particularly, who took, we have great doctors. Honestly, I don't think we've ever had any issues with our own capabilities.
No, I think we're very hospitable people. First of all, we are very warm and we are
Yeah.
willing to
Nurturing,
help.
caring.
If someone passes out on the street, on the road, or wherever,
Everybody.
we always-
Everybody just
that's
rallies.
how we are, and that's who we are. it's unfortunate that, you know, we are shrouded in all the problems that we are facing economically, but still on still, we be better people now.
Of course. Thank you so much, Nigeria, for doing that for Sese and for her even talking about it. I feel proud.
Yes,
I
I
feel
do.
proud.
And we have to thank you guys for watching Jasiri for today. Olive was our first celebrity guest. She had a fantastic time, which is what we love to hear. We at Jasiri always make you feel at home. Please join the conversation on Jasiri. #Jasiri. We're on our YouTube. Find us on YouTube. I'm looking forward to having. Hey, I saw the thing.
And we're going to see you on Monday, 10 a.m. sharp. And I will have to say good luck to the Super Eagles of Nigeria as they go head to head with their longtime rival, the indomitable Lions of Cameroon.
No. Who's gonna win?
I don't want to know.
You see, that's my dilemma now. That's why I said, of course.
I'm wearing green. I'm supporting my
We'll see you. Bye.
Bye, guys.